Hi everyone, I hope you're really well. We have got quite the different setup today because I am chasing light around the house as usual. So there's a lovely big window just that way, and yeah, the light seems to be good because I do prefer to use natural light. And anyway, that's not in any way relevant to this video at all really. I just wanted to explain the slightly different setup and the fact that I'm actually sat on a chair. How civilized. So anyway, I hope you're all really well. This video today is my second Q&A. So I've been asking you guys if you've got any questions you would like me to answer, and I've had quite a few questions from you either through Twitter or Facebook or my YouTube channel. So thank you so much to those of you that have asked me a question. If somehow I did miss your question, I'm really sorry. Ask me again in the comments of this video and I will make sure I answer it for you. I've got quite a few questions actually, and we all know how much I love to talk, so we better just get on with it really, I suppose. So in no particular order, Joanne would like to know, are you planning a summer holiday? Now, I am not the biggest holidayer in the world. I do love the idea of travel, but I don't love the expense that goes with it, and I've always prioritised my life a little bit differently. I'm definitely not one of those people who has to absolutely go on holiday at least once a year. Fortunately, me and my husband are both similar in that respect, so we haven't really holidayed that many times, even though we've been together a while. 17 years? Yeah, 17 years this year. Blimey. So yeah, we've not really holidayed that many times, and don't get me wrong, I've really enjoyed it, but it's just the expense of it, and now there's 3 of us, it's even more expensive, and we just never get round to doing it. And it kind of depends on 2 scenarios really. Scenario 1 is that if we end up buying a house this year, we will not be going on holiday because we won't be able to afford it. Scenario number 2 is that we won't be buying a house this year, and therefore we will be able to afford to go on holiday, because we would love to take our little boy away somewhere before he starts school this year, but I just don't know how likely that is. The beach is calling me. I'd love to go on some amazing all-inclusive holiday to somewhere warm and lovely, particularly as I can see out of this window and it's so grey and miserable right now. So I'd love to, but we're going to have to see. So the next question is from Denise, and Denise would like to know, what's your favourite thing about yourself? And I remember you asking me about this on my Facebook page, because it is important to recognise the things about you that you like, and making yourself feel less miserable about yourself, I suppose, because it's really easy to concentrate on the negatives. Well, actually, I don't really have a favourite in particular. I have a few things that I like about myself. I do actually have a few things I like about myself. The first thing is I love my hair. As much as it can be a pain and it can be a nightmare, when I'm having a good kind of curly hair day, I don't know, I really love my hair, and I really wish that there were more naturally curly girls that would just rock their curls on a daily basis, because with so many of you straightening your hair, we don't actually know who's curly and who isn't, because I'm betting it's probably quite a few. But I love my curls. They can hide a multitude of sins, and I know that they can look messy quite a lot as well, but I don't mind. Another thing I like about myself, and I'm not sure if it's going to show up particularly well in this light, is I love my eye colour. I love the colour green as an eye colour, but there's just something about my eyes that I really like, particularly when I've got a bit of mascara on as well. Mascara really helps. So I really like my eyes. I also like my lips as well. I never used to. I used to think that they were too full, because whenever I tried to put lipstick on or anything, I just felt like if I looked in the mirror, all I would see was this ginormous pair of lips. So that's kind of why I became a bit addicted to lip balm for a long time, because it was so much easier to wear lip balm and not worry about it. But in the last couple of years, I suppose, I've been embracing the lip situation a bit more and trying to be a little bit more adventurous and not being so self-conscious about them. So yeah, really like my lips. What else do I like? Quite like my boobs as well. I think if you've got bigger boobs, it can help balance your curves out if you're a curvy girl like me. So I think it helps me get away with certain clothing choices as well, just because it helps balance everything out. What else? I feel like I've listed quite a few things. There's still lots of things that I don't like, but I think it is important to realise what it is that you do actually like about yourself. So thank you so much for that question, Denise. I think it was brilliant. Okay, next question is from Helen, and Helen would like to know, what's your biggest worry and how do you dismiss it? Now, I did prepare for this video. I sat down and gathered all the questions together, and I started to think about my answers to make this a much more succinct recording experience for me, because I do waffle quite a lot. And I am a worrier by nature. I worry about lots of things. It can be very frustrating. But when I really thought about it, my biggest worry would be something that I'm not even sure I could do anything to dismiss it, really, other than just trying to get on with your day-to-day life. And that would be if something happened to either myself or my husband or my little boy, the immediate family. I have a friend who has young children and her husband died suddenly, and it's a terrifying experience to be faced with. So I guess really it's best not to dwell on it, but at the same time kind of having a strategy in place that if that was to happen, then at least you'd be taken care of in terms of like life insurance or something like that. So that is honestly probably the biggest worry that I have, is something happening to one of the three of us, really. And I'm actually really proud that I managed to get through talking about that and not crying, because I kind of thought I was going to. So next question is from Laurie, and you would like to know, did I go to university? And if I did, what did I study? Well, I didn't actually go to university, and there is a couple of reasons for this. I did study quite hard at school, but albeit a little bit late in life, shall we say. But I worked really hard to go on from doing what was GCSEs at the time when I was at school. I got the GCSEs, I needed to go on to do A-levels, and the A-level subjects I chose were performing arts, media studies and psychology, bit of an interesting mixture of subjects. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life, and I knew I didn't want to stop at GCSEs. I wanted to keep studying to try and figure out what I wanted to do. But by the time I'd finished my A-levels, or was nearly finished, I just thought, what would I go to university for? I know so many people now, it's just kind of the norm, I suppose, really. But I just wanted to start work and earn my own money, basically. And the other reason why I didn't is one of my sisters did go to university. She studied art, and I saw how much she struggled for money and how stressful it was. And I just thought, it's not like I have an actual plan of what I'd want to do, because if I knew that I wanted to be, I don't know, a doctor or an architect or something that would probably require a degree, then I would, you know, battle through and make it happen. But because I didn't have a clue about what I wanted to do, seeing her struggle just made me think, is it really going to be worth it for me? So that was the other reason why I didn't. If I could go back and change things, I'd probably be tempted to go to university, just purely because it is kind of the norm now, and I think a lot of people expect everyone to have a degree. So I still don't know what I would do it in, though, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't know. Something interesting, but something useful, and I don't know what that is. So next question is from Corrine, and she would like to know, do you like exercising or go to the gym? And if so, what do you do? And then she's also asked a second part to that question, what's your favourite food and drink? So in terms of exercising, I do actually really enjoy exercising. I think it's just the mental block that you have of putting on your gym clothes or whatever it is, your exercise clothes, and going out and doing it. And when we first moved to this village, in the local village hall, they used to do, I think it was Pilates and yoga, and I've always fancied doing a class for that, but they don't do it anymore. So I can't actually attend that because I would definitely be there if I could, and everywhere else that does it is a little bit too far out. So that's the kind of exercise that I'd like to be doing if I could. You guys probably know that I absolutely love to cycle. It's no chore for me, and I think the key with exercise is finding something that you really enjoy, so that although it can be obviously hard work still, you're more likely to enjoy it. And what I love about cycling is the fact that dependent on the route that you choose, and luckily in the village I have found a route that I love. It's about 4 miles, but I can make it longer if I want to, just by doing little bits of it again, or perhaps expanding where I go. But what I love about it is it's quite varied, so I can give myself a rest on the level bits or the downhill bits, but then I can also work hard and obviously get your heart pumping and stuff on the uphill bits. And obviously when you're going downhill, that's quite enjoyable, it makes it more fun. So I absolutely love cycling. Before I got married, I did used to go to the gym a lot, and I never used to be much of a gym person, I just didn't get it. But actually I did really enjoy it, and one of the main reasons was because of the fact that I could listen to music, because I don't obviously listen to music when I'm out cycling because that's a bit dangerous, even though I know some people do, including my husband. I prefer to just keep as safe as possible, so I do miss having some kind of amazing music to kind of keep you going, but I tend to just let my mind wander and just think about all sorts of random stuff. The other type of exercise I love is swimming as well, and I don't go enough, but I absolutely love to swim. I'm a proper water baby. And then the second part to your question, Corrine, was around what's my favourite food and drink. I'm going to go straight for making life easy, because we all probably know that I love my food and it is quite hard to just choose one thing. So I'm going to go down the spicy route, because I could eat spices every day, I think, and you know, nothing majorly hot, but just something with a bit of kick to it. So curries, Mexican food. I also love Chinese food as well, so anything like that kind of thing. But then I also like roast dinners as well. See, it's very difficult for me to just choose one thing, but instantly, most of the days, what I crave is something spicy. So something spicy. And then drink-wise, I quite happily drink coffee and tea, but if we're talking about something a little bit alcoholic maybe, then probably my go-to alcoholic drink would be amaretto and Coke. Next question is from June, and June would like to know, if you could only bring one beauty item to a desert island, what would it be and why? And then she's also said, same question, but one food only. You guys are so cruel. What is it about the one thing? So I had to think about this, and I approached this quite practically, and I thought, if I was on a desert island, what beauty product would I absolutely miss and not be able to cope without? And the answer was really obvious, and it was lip balm. I am addicted to it. If I haven't used it, I can just feel my lips starting to get dry, and I'm thinking, I'll be on a desert island, it'll be hot, it'll be quite windy maybe, and the salty air and stuff, so definitely lip balm. And then in terms of the second part of that question around the same thing for food, it would have to be chocolate. Again, I did think about this quite a lot, and I thought, what would I really miss? What would I just want a little something of that would make me feel all lovely inside? Because I'm assuming on this desert island I'm going to be able to catch fish, and maybe there's going to be some fruits and vegetables or plants or whatever growing that I could eat. So yeah, it would have to be chocolate. Next question I've got here is from Beth, and Beth has quite an unusual question. She would like to know, do I have an innie or an outie belly button, and what do I think about belly buttons? Okay, so I have an innie belly button. I'd never really given it much thought about belly buttons in general. I don't have a problem with them, but in terms of what I think about them, I actually think that at the end of the day, this is where life was created. That was where you were connected to your mummy. So actually, I think that belly buttons, upon reflection, are really quite special. Next question is from Moonlight, and you would like to know, favourite book? And I'm guessing it's just one. There's no way I can pick just one book. I think I've got 4 here and I have probably missed things. It's entirely possible. So the first book I've got is Memoirs of a Geisha. I absolutely love that book. I could read it over and over again. I have actually read it a lot of times. I think Arthur Golden just paints such a beautiful picture with his words of the scenery, and I've always wanted to go to Japan, so it's just such a lovely, lovely book. So definitely Memoirs of a Geisha. Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. It is Gaiman, isn't it? Or Gaiman? I never quite know. But that book is brilliant. It's funny, it's interesting, it's about the apocalypse, but it's got a funny take on it, and I think it's absolutely brilliant. I love that book. And then I've got a couple of series of books, because again, I could not include these. So I've got the Dark Materials trilogy, which I have mentioned before, which is The Golden Compass, The Subtle Knife, and The Amber Spyglass by Philip Pullman. And then of course, all the Harry Potter books by J.K. Rowling, because they're just absolutely genius, and I cannot wait until my boy is that little bit older and I'll be able to read them to him, and hopefully he'll actually want to read them himself. So yeah, sorry, that wasn't really book, was it? But I kind of went down the route of what books do I love that I've just wanted to read again and again and again. Next question is from Mandy, and you've gone down the desert island route as well. You would like to know what my 5, so you've been a bit more generous, my 5 desert island beauty or skincare products are. So again, I've given this quite a bit of thought and been quite practical with it, and actually tried to imagine myself on a desert island and what things I would need. So I'm going to need a cleanser because I'm going to want my face to feel quite clean. And then I was thinking, what's probably like my favourite all-time cleanser? And my mind just went straight to Emma Hardy's Moringa Cleansing Balm. It's not fantastic to be used necessarily in the morning. It is more of like a second cleanse in the evening, I guess. But I just love how it feels, I love how it smells. You can use really quite a small amount, so I could make one of those big tubs last a super long time. I could possibly also use it to double up for things as well. Thinking from like a practical, I'm on a desert island. I'm thinking about this way too much, aren't I? So Moringa Cleansing Balm. I'm going to need some kind of moisturiser, but I'm conscious of the fact that you've only given me 5 things, even though that was quite generous. So I was thinking It Cosmetics CC cream, because that covers loads of different skincare loving things in one go, and it's got a really high SPF in there, and I'm probably going to need that if I'm on a desert island. It's got a bit of colour to it, but then am I going to want to be wearing that all the time? Let's keep things simple and we'll go It Cosmetics CC cream, just mainly because of the fact that it's got the SPF, there's a bit of coverage, and it's a moisturiser amongst other things as well. I'm gonna need some kind of mascara, I think, because my eyes without mascara do just look a bit, I don't know, a bit sad. So some kind of mascara. At the moment, I would probably choose, you guys know what I would choose, the Diego de la Palma Lash Booster Siglione stuff, although we might have an issue with that because I have been using it for how long now? Has it been around a month? I think I unboxed it in the middle of December and I'm really struggling to use it. Like, it's gone a bit clumpy weird, I've managed to get there today with it because I'm still using it on a daily basis, but I don't know. I'm a little bit disappointed, but at the moment it would be that one. Some kind of brow product, so either I'd go down the Just for Men tinting route, which I think would be doable on a desert island, or the hourglass arch stuff, because I think that would last a really, really, really long time. Yeah, I'd probably just go for that hourglass arch actually, because dyeing your brows on a desert island, especially if you haven't got a mirror, could be problematic. And then of course some kind of lip balm, and it's probably going to be a Fresh Sugar lip treatment because they're gorgeous, and I think it would hopefully last quite a while as well. Is that 5 things? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's 5 things. Wow, it just goes to show it's not actually that many, is it? I think I've covered all the bases of what I would want. Right, next question is from, I've put Mr. Mandy, it's Mandy's husband. We talk to each other through Mandy's comments. He would like to know, what is my ideal finale for Game of Thrones? And what an amazing question. And I've given this question far too much thought. And I'm not going to go into tons of detail because I'm conscious of the fact that there are lots of different storylines, lots of different characters. So my kind of ultimate things would be, and I have written this down, ultimately I want a happy ending of some description. I think it needs to end on a positive note. Even if some slightly sad things happen leading up to that point, ultimately we need a happy ending. Obviously Cersei needs to get her comeuppance. I know we had the whole walk of shame, shame, shame thing that she did, which was awful, but I'm still not satisfied. Something needs to happen and it needs to be good. I also want to know the identity of the Night King, and I know that there are theories about that, Bran being one of them, which I think is quite interesting, could be. But I think we need to know who he is. Where did he come from? It's all going to get a bit timey-wimey if I have looked into this correctly and understood some of the theories correctly. I think things could start to get quite interesting with how Bran is kind of able to, well, yeah, effectively time travel, I suppose. So it could be him, but we need to know who these guys are. Ultimately, if we're going to have a happy ending, all the White Walkers need to disappear, obviously. I mean, they could maybe leave a really tiny little group of them to maybe suggest that something else might happen, but ultimately the White Walkers need to go. And then the last kind of major plot point I would like to see happen is Jon Snow finding true love. It would be amazing if Ygritte came back to life because, oh, those two together were so cute. It was adorable. And I know the way it's been left is he is with Daenerys, but Daenerys is his aunt. I'm just not sure if that's a match made in heaven right there. It would be nicer to have a slightly less complicated relationship. So Jon Snow finding love and maybe getting his bum on the Iron Throne as well. And I appear to be rapidly losing the light in usual style, so I just wanted to pick up on a couple of questions from the TMI tag that, oh my goodness, I cannot believe where my brain was. And I could probably dissect every single answer that I gave and slap myself at the same time. And thank you to all of you who told me what OTP meant, because I clearly did not have a clue. It's one true pairing. So in terms of like movies and TV, which couple are like the best couple, I think is my understanding of it. And for me, there is just one pairing that I could think of that are the ultimate pairing in every possible thing that I've ever seen, and that is Rose Tyler and David Tennant's Doctor from Doctor Who, because the story between those two and when they got separated into different parallel universes, yeah, I did get quite upset when that happened. Absolute amazing chemistry, love them together. Massive, massive fan of Doctor Who in the David Tennant era, not so much now, but yeah, They are the best. And then the last one that I wanted to pick up on was the favourite actor thing, because I said Johnny Depp mainly because Johnny Depp just popped into my head. And don't get me wrong, he's very good, but there are some people that I like so much more than him, Tom Hanks being one of those people. Tom Hanks is in so many of my films that I would just rewatch. I mean, You've Got Mail, I love that film. I love that film so much. It's probably in my top 5. I love it. I've also got Geoffrey Rush, because I think Geoffrey Rush is absolutely amazing. And just for a little confession, we watched the latest Pirates of the Caribbean film last night, Pirates 5, the Salazar's whatever it was, and I was kind of like, oh, this is okay. And then, I'm not going to spoil the ending, but the bit where he says one word and the look on his face when he says it, I had a tear in my eye. To a Pirates of the Caribbean film. Who would have thought it? But it's Geoffrey Rush. He's amazing. I've also got Hugo Weaving as well, because Hugo Weaving is probably one of the most diverse actors ever, and I love his voice as well. He's absolutely fantastic. Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. You've obviously got The Matrix as well, Lord of the Rings, and then V for Vendetta, which is one of my favourite films ever, and you don't even really see him ever, I don't think. It's just mainly his voice. So Hugo Weaving, amazing. And then finally Kate Winslet, because what's not to love about Kate Winslet? Right, that is all of those questions answered. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I think the last Q&A I did was about 6 months ago, so the next one I will save for probably at least another 6 months' time or something. But I hope you enjoyed hearing me answer these questions. And that is it for today, so I will see you again soon. Bye!